Natalie, a 30-year-old woman with a gentle face framed by light hair, usually tied in a low bun, and expressive brown eyes that revealed her sensitive nature, lived in a cozy apartment in downtown Chicago. Her husband, Alex, a tall brunette with broad shoulders and a kind, slightly shy smile, was her rock and love. They had married a year ago, and their life was filled with warmth. Evenings spent at a small wooden dining table, sipping herbal tea, surrounded by flowers that Natalie lovingly tended. Their apartment, with light walls adorned with local artists' paintings and old wooden furniture, radiated the warmth of their love. Large windows let in the soft glow of Chicago's streets, and the windowsills were decorated with pots of violets and orchids, which Natalie watered with care. But 3 months ago, everything changed. Natalie's mother, Hannah, an elderly woman with a kind heart and wise gray eyes that always shone with warmth, died suddenly of a heart attack. Natalie couldn't forgive herself for not being there that fateful day. That morning, she had hurriedly left her mother sleeping, rushing to her job at a downtown Chicago publishing house where she worked as an editor. Returning that evening, she found Hannah lifeless on her bed, a calm smile frozen on her face. Since then, Natalie became withdrawn, her eyes lost their spark, and at night she wept, recalling her mother's embraces, her quiet talks about life, and her advice on keeping a family strong. Hannah was not just a mother, but a friend who knew how to comfort even in the darkest moments. Alex, with his practical outlook and love for clear solutions, tried to support his wife, but his jokes about her romanticism only irritated her. He worked as a manager at a logistics company, and his long workdays left little time for deep conversations. Natalie felt she had lost a part of herself, and this void grew, like a shadow slowly consuming her heart. One cold autumn night, Natalie had a chilling dream. Her mother, pale with sad eyes, stood in darkness, surrounded by thick fog, reaching out with hands stained with blood. Her voice, faint and distant, whispered something indistinct, but Natalie sensed it was a warning. She woke up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding, the dark bedroom feeling foreign. She lay staring at the shadows on the ceiling, unable to shake the feeling that this wasn't just a dream. Hannah was trying to tell her something vital. Fearing Alex, who trusted logic and was skeptical of mysticism, would think her crazy, she didn't share the vision. Instead, she recalled Madame Clara, a renowned seer in her middle years, living in a quiet Chicago suburb where old oaks groaned in the wind. Madame Clara, with neatly styled hair streaked with gray and piercing green eyes that seemed to see through one's soul, always wore a white linen shirt that enhanced her enigmatic aura. Her wooden cottage, surrounded by a dense garden and ancient oaks, felt like a portal to another world, filled with the scent of herbs, candle wax, and something intangible that sent shivers down the spine. Locals said Madame Clara could read fates and commune with spirits, and Natalie believed only she could interpret her dream. Taking an old photo of her mother, where Hannah smiled in a summer garden holding a basket of flowers, Natalie set off to the seer. The road to the Chicago suburbs was quiet, with only the wind rustling the leaves, and the asphalt gave way to a dirt path as she neared the cottage. Her heart tightened with anxiety, her mind swirling with thoughts of her mother and her mysterious warning. Entering Madame Clara's cottage, Natalie felt the scent of dried herbs and incense calm her nerves. She sat at an old oak table where a thick wax candle burned, casting flickering shadows on walls covered with faded tapestries. Natalie spoke softly, her voice trembling. "I thought she was sleeping, went to work, and when I returned, I realized my mother died alone. I want to ask her forgiveness." I brought her photo. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she placed the picture on the table. Madame Clara, her green eyes gleaming in the dim light, looked at her gently and said, "Don't blame yourself. Dear, you have nothing to repent for. Your mother passed peacefully, but her soul is restless." Natalie, clutching the photo, insisted, "But why did she come to me in a dream? Am I going mad?" Madame Clara shook her head, her voice turning serious. "No, your mother wanted to warn you. You have a rival who seeks to take your husband." Natalie froze, her eyes widening in shock. "A rival? Impossible, Alex loves me." Her heart clenched. She couldn't imagine Alex, with his tender embraces and loyal eyes, betraying her. Madame Clara handed her a handmade rag doll with embroidered facial features. Take this doll. It's you. Then she added, here's a red thread. Kate will bring another doll. That's your husband. Tie them together with this thread. Kate, a young woman of about 25. Madame Clara's apprentice with short, dark hair and practical clothing, jeans, and a simple blouse, silently handed over the second doll, her quiet but reliable demeanor adding to the scene's mystique. Natalie obediently took the thread, her fingers trembling, but it snapped the moment she tried to tie a knot. Madame Clara sighed, her face darkening. Something's wrong between you. It's not the thread's fault, but the dark envy of that woman. She has something of yours. Find it and bring it to me. Natalie was bewildered. What thing? How do I find this woman? I can't even imagine. Alex has never given me reason to doubt. Madame Clara, her gaze distant, warned, she's hidden, but close. If you don't retrieve your item, she'll take your place. Her words struck Natalie like a cold wave. She returned home, her thoughts tangled. The apartment, usually warm and cozy, felt alien, the scent of flowers on the windowsill only heightening her unease. She tried to dismiss Madame Clara's words, convincing herself it was her imagination, and attempted to carry on as before. Meanwhile, Erin, her best friend from Toronto, Canada, arrived. Erin, tall with long dark hair and lively gestures, was always the life of the party. They met at Chicago's train station, where trains hummed, and the air smelled of autumn leaves and diesel fuel. Embracing, they laughed as if back in their college days, sharing dreams and secrets. Erin, adjusting her stylish leather bag, said, "Oh, Natalie, even in casual clothes, you look so stunning it's hard to tell if it's a compliment or a tease." Natalie forced a smile. "Don't exaggerate. You've seen the kind of man I married." Erin nodded, her eyes sparkling. "Listen, as we walked from the station to the car, girls were eyeing Alex. Honestly, a lady from a modeling agency stopped us and said they need his type for an ad." Her words hit Natalie like a bolt of lightning. She hadn't noticed Alex, in his simple jeans and shirt, drawing such attention before. Her heart clenched with anxiety, and Madame Clara's warning about a rival resurfaced in her mind. That night, lying in bed, she decided to confront Alex. The room was dark, with only faint streetlight filtering through the curtains, casting eerie shadows on the walls. "So, Alex, what's with all those messages you're sending?" she asked quietly, trying to sound casual. Alex, tired from a long day at the office, replied, "Nothing much, just a department tournament. My team's winning, by the way. We've got girls working the registers and sales floors. You're not jealous, are you?" Natalie felt her cheeks flush. "You never mentioned your team was mostly women, and they're better at it than you." Alex sighed, his brows furrowing. "What's there to tell? Have I ever given you reason to doubt?" She pressed, her voice sharper. "You're not exactly open with me, it turns out." He cut her off. "I share what matters, but I'm not reporting my every move. Good night, before you start a fight." Natalie was left alone in the darkness, her heart racing. For the first time, she felt a burning jealousy, like poison coursing through her veins. Madame Clara's words echoed in her mind, and she could no longer shake the thought that someone threatened their happiness. Doubts, like shadows, crept into her soul, and Natalie knew this was only the beginning. The next morning, Natalie woke with a heavy heart. Her brown eyes, still red from a sleepless night, stared into the mirror as if searching for answers in her reflection. She couldn't shake Madame Clara's words, which hummed in her mind like a distant whisper of spirits. The apartment, usually filled with warmth and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, felt cold and empty. Natalie decided to talk to someone close to sort out her doubts. She called Samantha, her stepsister, who had introduced her to Alex during their college days at the University of Chicago. Samantha, a slender woman with short blonde hair and a sharp gaze, always seemed a bit distant to Natalie, but she hoped for her support. They agreed to meet at a cozy cafe in downtown Chicago, near Michigan Avenue, where the scent of fresh coffee mingled with the hum of cars and hurried passers-by outside. Samantha, dressed in an elegant gray dress and stylish glasses, smiled when she saw Natalie. "I was just about to call you. You look like you haven't slept in weeks." Natalie, nervously clutching her latte cup, tried to smile. "What happened? Why assume something's wrong?" Samantha laughed, her voice light, but with a hint of superiority. Good news. I sold your wedding dress, and quite successfully. Got some money for my apartment renovation. Natalie felt her heart sink. The white wedding dress with delicate lace was more than just an item. It was a symbol of her happiness with Alex. She recalled choosing it at the salon, how Hannah joyfully adjusted her veil, and her friends gasped in awe. But Natalie brushed aside those memories and said quietly, I didn't come about money. Do you think Alex could be cheating on me? Samantha raised her eyebrows, her eyes glinting with curiosity. Whoa, did he not come home? Lipstick on his shirt? Hiding money. Natalie shook her head, her fingers trembling as she gripped the table's edge. No, nothing like that. But he's not telling me everything. We fought about it yesterday. Samantha, sipping her coffee, replied with a slight smile. You're being silly. Anyone can cheat. But if you demand Alex account for every step, he'll definitely stray. Give him space. Men need that. Her words sounded reasonable, but Natalie felt even guiltier, as if she'd caused the problem herself. She thanked Samantha and returned home, hoping to make up with Alex. Their apartment, usually warm and cozy, felt cold that evening, the scent of flowers mingling with the anxiety weighing on Natalie. In the kitchen, she saw Aaron preparing dinner, filling the air with the aroma of sizzling meatballs with garlic and spices. Aaron, her dark hair tied in a high ponytail, moved confidently, looking at home. She hummed a tune, stirring sauce on the stove. Alex, sitting at the table, smiled. Thanks, Aaron. These meatballs smell amazing. Natalie felt anger rising, her cheeks flushing. Why are you praising my friend's meatballs like that? Aaron, unfazed, turned with a smile. Try them. You definitely can't cook like this. It's an old Canadian recipe from my mom. Natalie took offense, her voice trembling with tension. I don't need to. Alex loves my eclairs, don't you? Aaron, with a barely noticeable smirk, continued. Eclairs won't feed a hungry man. My husband in Toronto eats what I cook and doesn't complain. Alex, sensing the tension, intervened, his voice sharp. Natalie, what's wrong with you? Stop it. But Natalie couldn't stop, her jealousy spilling out. I don't know what's gotten into you, but I just wanted a quiet dinner. Helping my husband with your meatballs? I come home, and you're in my way. Aaron, offended, her eyes narrowing, said, Alex told me you've been off since your mom's death. I think you still haven't recovered. Natalie, tears welling up, accused. Are you saying I imagined you flirting with my husband? Aaron, grabbing her bag, headed for the door. I don't need your husband. Don't make things up. I chose you as a friend once, but now you're acting crazy. I want to pack my things and leave. Thanks for the hospitality. Sorry for the trouble. Natalie, barely holding back tears, pleaded. Alex, don't go. I'll change. I won't be jealous anymore. I'm sorry. Alex, his face weary, replied. I'm taking Aaron to a hotel. It's not right to kick someone out like this. He left, leaving Natalie alone. Her heart tore with pain and doubt. She sat on the couch, clutching her head, unsure what to do. Madame Clara had ordered her to find the item belonging to her rival to save her marriage. But Natalie couldn't recall giving anything to Aaron. She thought back to their friendship, laughing in school, sharing dreams of the future. Aaron by her side at her wedding, holding the bouquet. Could Aaron, so cheerful and open, wish her harm? Natalie decided to wait for Alex to find out which hotel Aaron was staying at and talk to her. That night, she saw her mother in a dream again. Hannah stood in darkness, her face pale, her voice barely audible. Daughter, wake up, you can't sleep. Mom. Natalie woke gasping, her heart pounding. She came to in Alex's arms, who looked frightened. You scared me. Why is it so cold in here? I came back, and it's impossible to breathe. All the gas burners were left on. Natalie, trembling, couldn't recall how it happened. She stared at the stove, where the blue flames flickered out, leaving a sharp smell of gas. Alex, his eyes filled with worry, held her shoulders. You need a doctor. Natalie, this isn't normal. You could have killed us both. But she knew a doctor wouldn't help. Fear and confusion overwhelmed her, and she decided her only way out was to return to Madame Clara. The next morning, hands trembling, she drove to the Chicago suburbs. The road was long, asphalt turning to dirt, surrounded by old oaks like guardians of Madame Clara's cottage. Autumn leaves fell, creating a carpet of red and gold. Natalie knocked on the door, her heart pounding so loudly she feared the seer would hear it. She entered, and the scent of herbs and candle wax filled her lungs, evoking a strange mix of calm and anxiety. Natalie stood in Madame Clara's cottage, clutching the protective charm, a small pouch of salt the seer had given her earlier. Her voice trembled as she poured out her heart. Yesterday, I nearly poisoned myself with gas. Are you trying to scam me for money? Madame Clara, in her white linen shirt, with neatly styled hair streaked with gray, replied sternly, "Hush, stop the hysterics. I'm scared for you." Natalie wept, tears streaming down her cheeks, and Madame Clara continued, her voice softening. "Your mother appeared to me in a vision to protect you. Her soul is restless because your rival has bound you to a dark force through an item from your wedding." Natalie, barely holding back sobs, asked, "It was Mom? What did she want to say? Who is this rival?" Madame Clara, closing her eyes as if listening to something unseen, explained, "She didn't name her, but she warned, the item you gave away carries a curse stronger than her protection. Your rival used it to steal your happiness." Holding an old book with yellowed pages, Madame Clara advised, "You have until tomorrow evening to find this item and bring it to me. Kate, bring another pouch of salt." Kate, Madame Clara's apprentice, with her quiet confidence and short dark hair, quickly handed over the pouch, her presence adding calm to the ritual. Natalie, her hands shaking, stammered, "I don't know what to look for." Madame Clara, her voice heavy with concern, added, "It's tied to your wedding. Wear this charm. It will protect you from harm." Natalie felt ashamed for accusing the seer, who genuinely tried to save her. She returned home, where the apartment felt empty without Alex. Sitting on the couch, she pulled out an old album of wedding photos. Each picture showed her in a white dress, smiling happily, and Alex gazing at her with love. But now, those memories felt distant, like another life. She flipped through the pages, searching for a clue about the item that might have gone to Aaron. Her fingers trembled as she recalled the wedding day, music, guests' laughter, the scent of roses in her bouquet. Alex caught her at it. "Natalie, I've been looking for you all morning. You can't just leave without telling me. Where were you?" She made up an excuse, trying to sound convincing. "I went to see a new student. Their parents mentioned exams and needed a tutor." Alex, his face tense, insisted, "Why didn't you call? I was worried." "Sorry, I won't forget again. Get ready, you're late for the doctor." Natalie refused, her voice firmer. "A doctor won't help. I was afraid you'd think I'm crazy, but I'm not. The seer said my rival cursed me to die through a wedding item. It's Aaron. I have to take it back, or I'll die." Alex, skeptical, replied, "Fine, doctor first, then we'll see. If you won't go willingly, I'll take you by force." Natalie knew arguing was pointless, but on one photo, she noticed Aaron holding her wedding bouquet, smiling against the backdrop of a Chicago park. To outsmart Alex, she said, "I forgot some documents. Please grab them." Then she called Aaron and arranged to meet at a park by Lake Michigan. They met on a path where autumn leaves fell, and the wind carried the salty scent of water. Aaron, in a warm coat, looked concerned. Natalie asked immediately, "Where's my wedding bouquet?" "You caught it. I don't want to die." Aaron, eyes wide, replied, "I want you to be okay. Let me take you to a doctor." Natalie insisted, "You know a doctor won't help. Where's my bouquet?" Aaron, her voice trembling, explained, "I don't know. At the wedding, your mom talked about a bad omen, took the bouquet from me. The garter from the witness said no one should keep wedding items. Ask your sister. She was upset when your mom took her boutonniere." Natalie, her heart racing, asked, "You don't want to take Alex?" Aaron denied it. "Of course not. I have a boyfriend in Toronto. I didn't get a chance to tell you. Sorry about the meatballs." Natalie, sighing, forgave her. "Wait, maybe we'll talk more?" "I forgive you, but there's no time." She fled without explaining, still unsure who the real rival was. Feeling helpless, Natalie turned to Samantha. They met at Samantha's apartment in the Chicago suburbs. Sensing tension, Natalie discreetly turned on her phone's dictaphone, hiding it in her coat pocket to record her sister's words. Samantha, with a cold gaze, asked, "Natalie, what's wrong? Did Alex call?" Natalie, her voice full of pain, said, "I wanted to hear it from you. My mom appeared to me, and I went to a seer. She said Mom's protecting me from a woman who wants me dead to be with Alex." She has my item. If I don't find it by tomorrow evening, I'll die. Samantha seemed surprised, but her eyes betrayed tension. That sounds like nonsense, but you're serious? What? You're saying I'm about to die? You've already buried me. Natalie realized the truth, her voice sharp. That's it. You introduced me to Alex, but you were in love with him since freshman year. You stole him from me. Samantha admitted, her voice trembling with anger. Why didn't you say anything? What was I supposed to do? Alex fell for you, and I hate you. I cursed the day our dad remarried. Your wedding dress. I gave it away for free, but paid you. It was used to bury a girl who took her own life yesterday. Natalie was horrified. How could you? I'm calling Alex, telling him you're lying, and keeping you here until he arrives. She couldn't believe Samantha hated her so much and wished her death. She decided to spend the night at a hotel in downtown Chicago, where she nearly got hit by a car and fell downstairs, but Madame Clara's charm, tightly clutched in her hand, saved her. Early the next morning, she went to Madame Clara. I almost died. My husband thinks I'm crazy, and my sister hates me, though I loved her like family. Madame Clara, her voice full of compassion, confirmed, she's always been jealous of you. She's the rival. Did you find the item? Natalie explained, not exactly. I gave my sister my wedding dress to sell, and she gave it for a burial. Madame Clara sighed. That's bad. You lost your marriage's talisman. A wedding dress can not only ruin a marriage, but take a life. Your mother knew this and tried to protect you. She advised, we must break the bond with the dress and the spirit. I'll help, but it will save your life, not your marriage. Natalie protested, no, I can't lose Alex. I love him. Arrange for him to do the ritual with me. Madame Clara nodded. He thinks I'm crazy. Figure something out. It's your only chance. Kate will bring a spell for white roses, and don't lose the charm until the ritual. Natalie was grateful, but unsure if she could convince Alex she wasn't crazy. She returned home and told him, I'm okay. I stayed at a hotel. I know I seem crazy, but please, listen to me. She pulled out her phone and played Samantha's recording. Cancel the curse. I'll do anything, even divorce. If you don't, I'll tell Alex the truth. You gave my wedding dress for a burial. Alex, hearing Samantha's voice, froze, his eyes wide with shock. He said quietly, Is that true? She said that. Natalie nodded, her voice trembling. I'll go to a doctor if you want, but first, help me. Madame Clara can save us. Alex, still stunned, agreed. All right, I'll do as she says. Madame Clara performed the ritual in her cottage. Surrounded by the scent of herbs, sleep soundly. Don't rise, don't walk by morning, day, evening, or night. As this thread breaks, so does the bond between you. She, as promised, helped Natalie sever the tie with the deceased girl's spirit. Madame Clara, is it okay? Natalie asked, holding the charm. That evening, Natalie and Alex performed their own ritual to preserve their marriage. They bought 2 white rose saplings, placed them in their room, and put their wedding rings on each other, as they did a year ago. Then they recited the spell. As these rings stay in place, so will Alex and Natalie be together forever, in sorrow and joy. So be it. Their relationship quickly mended. They cut Samantha out of their lives forever, and Natalie reconciled with Aaron. Madame Clara advises, never sell your wedding dress, as it can ruin your marriage or even take your life. But if you must, have it dry cleaned first and keep a decorative element, preferably the veil, and for 7 days after, give nothing to anyone.